Greetings and welcome. I am not sure a Midwesterner was supposed to do that. We are more lake people. But as you can tell, this is a video response for Dylan at Double D Vintage Baseball Cards. In 1984, Pat Benatar sang, "We belong, we belong, we belong together." In 2005, Mariah Carey sang, "'Cause we belong together." Now, I cannot verify this, and the time frame doesn't quite add up, but I like to believe that both Pat Benatar and Mariah Carey, who are most definitely subscribers to Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, got their inspiration for these songs by watching the masterpiece by which Dylan showcases his cards. Which leads us to the year 2023, and Dylan is asking us to show cards that go together. And for the record, Dylan, I put your videos ahead of Pat Benatar's and Mariah Carey's, even though theirs are shorter. And I say that because I don't comment as often as I should, but that's mostly because I watch your videos in segments. But there's not many videos that I've missed. But let's start looking at some cards. In honor of Double D, I am going to start with my favorite Double D, and that is Dave DeBusschere. And you can see on the left is his 1963 Topps baseball card. That would be him on the bottom left with the Chicago White Sox. And on the right is his 1969 Topps basketball rookie. And DeBusschere just, what a tremendous two-sport athlete that doesn't get enough love. But when I think of DeBusschere, I often think of his roommate. And just for fun, we'll call him Double B. Bill Bradley. Possibly the smartest professional athlete, as he was a Rhodes Scholar. And to pair with Bradley, I always think Jim Bunning goes with Bradley, as they were both Hall of Famers in their respective sports and also United States Senators. But let's stay with Bradley and bring back DeBusschere. I'm going to show these two cards, maybe this way. And I think these two pair nicely because they both look so uninterested in getting their photo taken. Just do not want to be there, it looks like. But if you follow basketball, you will know, you heard this often, and it would be Bradley to Frazier. So I have these two cards going together. This isn't my favorite Bradley card, but man, do I love this card. Just that look, he looks so intense, and just such a cool card. But in basketball, one person stands alone, and that is Michael Jordan. However, if you're going to pair him with anyone, in the 90s you would pair him, not so much now, but in the 90s you would pair Jordan and Pippen together. And I think those two cards go well together. But because I think Jordan is the greatest of all time, he should stand alone and truly only be paired with himself. Something I don't think Jordan gets enough credit for is how he left the NBA for 21 months, rebuilt his body for baseball, then went back to the NBA in March of '95, and within 5 games hit a game winner and dropped 55 points at Madison Square Garden. Unbelievable. But who can forget the tremendous 1998 conference finals, when you had these two guys pairing up against each other. And when you think of the Mount Rushmore of Indiana, there's only two heads and not four. And that's Reggie and Peyton. And of course, you can always add the patriarch of the Manning family, as they are both passing to their left or right, his dad Archie. But in Indianapolis, when you think Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison's also associated. And if you want two of the greatest Colts of all time, you've got to enter Johnny U. And like Manning to Harrison, it all started with Unitas to Barry. But just as Johnny U went west, so did Peyton Manning, where he would finish his career like another Colorado favorite, Todd Helton. And why do these pair well together? Because they were both quarterbacks at the University of Tennessee together. And Helton actually started at Rocky Top before Manning did. But going together, adding some more first basemen, I always think Mark McGwire and Jim Thome pair well. And that is because these are my two favorite baseball players growing up. And the reason I would always wear the number 25 in Little League, although I would bring great shame to that number as I could not hit a curveball. And a side note, I took my son to the batting cages and I showed him that his old man can still turn on a 75-mile-per-hour fastball. But thankfully, again, the batting cages don't throw curveballs and just fastballs, so I could kind of show off a little bit for him. But two guys who could hit the curveball, be Chipper Jones and Eddie Murray, who are the greatest switch hitters of my lifetime. And please note, I said of my lifetime. Mantle wasn't in my lifetime, nor was Pete Rose. So these two, to me, are the greatest switch hitters. And from going from two guys who could hit the curve to two guys who could throw and catch the curve, be Adam Wainwright and Molina. And I think you could always pair any cards of Waino and Molina together, as they have the all-time battery record. And I want to share two more pairs before I end this. And if you caught my 1958 top set video that I had about a month ago or so, I mentioned in that I thought those two cards would pair very well together. Bill Witt and Bob Turley. And finally, when I think of Dylan's channel, I think fun. And what's more fun in baseball than a mascot? So I am pairing the San Diego Chicken with Al Shaykhot, and I do not know how to pronounce this, also known as the Clown Prince of baseball, as they called him. So Dylan, Thank you for this contest. I don't display my cards, so I had a lot of fun putting this together. I could have just kept going and going as I had more ideas pop into my head, and it was kind of crazy. But I'm going to stop now. But thank you for doing this. If you've not checked out Double D Vintage Baseball Cards, if you're watching my videos, I know you've checked out his. But if for whatever reason you're not, please give him a subscribe. Take a look. It's great stuff. Thank you for watching, and enjoy your collection.